Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of EQ'IN It, just a show where we help you customize your relationships. Thank you everybody for watching, for liking and subscribing. Hope you've all had a great week because this is the week that the Lord has made and the day, so we're going to rejoice and be glad in it. Once again, just thankful for all you who may be watching or watching the replay. Hope you're all doing well. Once again, I am Q. This is E, my beautiful wife, and we once again are just here to go over some things that we have seen and come across in all of our years of being married. So we've been together 20, been married 16, and say it once again, we are not gurus. We are not relationship experts.
Nope.
So, we don't have it all figured out, but just once again, just pointing out some things that we've gone through and some things that we see coming across through social media and other places that are dealing with marriage and relationships, and just giving our perspective on it, just to help somebody else get a different type of perspective. Once again, like, comment, subscribe at the bottom. Just let us know like what we're doing, if anything you want us to talk about. We're happy to do that because we're here to help you.
Absolutely.
And so tonight we are talking about marrying the wrong person. And so I've seen this come across social media a couple times, and we're going to look at two situations I came across this week.
Yeah.
And so what do you think about that, about marrying the wrong person?
That's an interesting topic. Very interesting, the two scenarios that you came across, but just the thought of marrying the wrong person, I feel like, and in the beginning, you would hopefully recognize some things that may be like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. Or even if you get into it and you realize there's some things that you feel like, nah, this is not gonna work, go ahead and communicate that. Don't wait years and years down the road and then be like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, because it's another person you got to consider. But again, I'm sure it does happen, but I would hope that you would recognize that early on instead of waiting, say, 5 or 10 years down the road and being like, I woke up today and I don't want to do this anymore. So we'll definitely check out these scenarios and see what y'all think. But yeah, it's an interesting thing, marrying the wrong person.
Yeah, so this is why we go over a lot that we go over, because there's no guide to marriage. So,
Nope.
And there's a lot of things that don't get talked about that should. And so, like I said, we recommend things like premarital counseling to help you come across a lot of that. Not everything, but to help you get a lot of it, to understand about who you're marrying and if you're getting married for the right reasons.
True.
And so let's not waste any further time. So we'll take a look at our first scenario. So I just want you to listen to this and then I want you to give your opinion on it.
It's not worth it dealing with someone else every single day of your life. Every day. I've been married for about 7 years, and I don't even know if this is worth it. And not saying that there's anything necessarily wrong. There's nothing wrong, and that's the point. I don't even know why I'm upset. I'm just, not thinking that I made the right decision. And I have a good man. I do. And that's not the point. The point is, it's you really do lose yourself. You lose your sense of individuality. You lose your sense of peace. And this could be even to a good man. You're gonna lose something, and I don't think it's worth it. At all. I've always had a dream of, getting out of my hometown, city, and moving on, moving forward. Life is supposed to be experience. We're supposed to be doing new things and traveling, and I don't know if I want to continue doing this every.
Yes, I want up here.
Yeah. Oh, man, wait. Really? Yes. You just kept. I was like, oh, he can stop this way over here, because it was coming as you were playing. I was like, oh, wait, gotta go back.
Okay.
But to go ahead and jump in, y'all definitely gotta chime in once y'all come across this and tell us y'all thoughts on this. But
yeah,
just to start, please chime in. But just to start at the beginning of what she was saying, what caught my attention, of course, she said she got married for 7 years and is married to a good man, as she says. But then what got me was she said, She felt like she's lost herself and she's her individuality and all of that and so forth. So I mean, I think you have to, yes, you're coming together with somebody else, but I do believe you can still maintain your individuality and not losing yourself like that. You have to take some time for some self-care, I believe. So I don't know her, I don't know her situation, but I would encourage people just in general to make sure you're taking time for you. Yes, y'all are married and y'all are coming together, but you're still you. And I have heard, that before, that you can lose yourself in, your relationship, marriage, whatever it can be, which can be true. However, the solution I would think would be to make sure you're still having that time separate from your spouse to be able to be you and do the things that you enjoy and do all that so that you can come, back refreshed, rejuvenated to be able to work together. So I feel like maybe in this scenario, she may have lost that along the way for whatever reason. So I could understand how you may feel that way, but then you have to remember to pour back into you, because again, we're two people becoming one. So he still has his individuality. I still have my individuality, the person, but we're coming together to build, to build something that's great. So that first thing that really stuck out, I was like, oh man, you lost yourself, which it happens. Don't get me wrong, it does. But then you have to find a way and hopefully find it sooner than later to say, oh, I got to step back and find some me time or whatever that looks like. But you definitely don't want to lose yourself or get consumed. And if you find yourself doing that, you got to make an adjustment. You got to step back. And then I had you stop too, because then she was saying about the life part, like wanting to, get out of her town and get out of her city. So obviously they're still living, I guess, where she grew up, whatever, based on what she was saying. So she was thinking that would be different. However, again, we talk about it all the time as far as conversations and what your expectation or what you were hoping or whatever. I don't know if they've talked, her and her husband have talked about this or not, but even if you're not able to relocate at the moment, y'all can kind of plan, trips or whatever, just to make it, try to get that part in. But again, if it's never been talked about and now you're feeling trapped and all that stuff, then that's kind of where you come with this. So what are your thoughts on just that beginning part of what she was saying? Losing herself and thought it was going to be different with not being, living still in my same city and adventure and all that type of stuff.
She sounds like a person that wouldn't know life experience. She sounds like she hasn't never been out on her own because of the thing about, well, she said some other things when we're going to play it further, but where she wants to get out and how she expected it to be, getting ahead, but she wanted to go travel and different experiences and things like that. We'll see. I'm going to let you hear what she says later. That's why I say she sounds like somebody with, that really hasn't been out on her own.
Okay.
And she's going to make some comments alluding to that when we play it a little bit more. But yeah, you don't want to. You can be an individual, but there's also, gotta say, I watched it going in the head.
Well, that's why I was saying we'll catch her right here because I know there's more.
And so
to come,
you'll see. I don't think it's so much of her individuality. You're going to see. I think she's struggling with she's struggling with maturing, and she's going to make some comments that kind of point that out.
By what she said right here, but that's fine. We can go ahead on.
Okay, so you'll see what I get to. Yeah,
jump to the end, to the middle.
All right. So if you want to stop again, let me know.
Every single day of my life, like always checking in with someone, always having to consider their feelings. It's always somebody else. You're never alone. Even if it's absolutely worth it, I don't think it is. Even if you found the most perfect man, it's not worth it. It's not, like, it's always gonna be best to just, like, be alone. And maybe that's why so many men tell older women they're gonna be alone and be so sad. I'm sad with a great man. Like, imagine living a fairy tale and it's nothing like you imagined it. You're living your literal fairy tale, and it's not what you want. It's not what you want. Even if you think that you want it, even if it's exactly what you dreamed of, it's still just.
Let me pause that for a second.
Yeah, that's it right there.
So, just from what she said, as far as you're living the fairy tale, but it's not what you want. Obviously, you ain't really know what you wanted, or you weren't sure what you wanted, or something. Like, this is why we talk about in general, from the beginning to now, the things we talked about is being able to articulate what you want or the things you desire. You have to know that going into something. And granted, everybody's, I guess, at different points or whatever when they meet people and they decide that they want to be with this person, or they, whatever the case may be, or they want to date a little while or whatever. But again, you have to know what you want. And I get that sometimes people don't know and they need time to think about it or grow or whatever. But if that's the case, then don't jump in to marriage, or don't jump. You know what I mean? Don't jump into something that's supposed to be a forever thing and you're uncertain. Granted, I don't know 7 years ago what what was going on in the thought process, whatever. But we're 7 years in now, and you're feeling, it just sounds like to me you feeling trapped. Like, this is not what you signed up for, and it's not what you thought it would be. So again, I would also say, I don't know what she thought it was going to be, but try not to go into it with an expectation. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and he was saying how he just lives life like that. Like, he doesn't go into stuff with expectations of what it'll be or the person, or you just go into it open and see what happens. Y'all learn each other, da 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 da. So I would say that for our viewers, as you're dating and as you're contemplating marriage and stuff like that, don't go in with conceived expectations of, oh, it should be this way and da 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 da. First of all, you can't compare your stuff to nobody else's stuff, and the person you with ain't like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like somebody else. So you got to go into it open, willing to understand each other, willing to grow and so forth like that. So it just sounds like 7 years in, it wasn't what she thought. For whatever reason, maybe she had expectations of, I don't know, but it wasn't what she thought. So now she's feeling like, oh, she's stuck and everything. And she's not saying that anything bad about the guy. She's just saying she's not feeling it anymore. And it's unfortunate because, again, you got another person you got to consider. So we thinking things good, and then all of a sudden, 7 years later, you talking about this wasn't it. This is not what I thought. But I think, too, you also got to, again, know what you want. Talk about what if you have an expectation, talk about it with the person. What are you thinking that marriage is or should be or whatever, so they can get an idea, so y'all not going into this blind. Because obviously, I'm sure he's not thinking this. He thinking all is well. But she over here emotional and sad and stuff because it's not what she thought. But go ahead.
So I say she doesn't have any life experience because of you see how she got really selfish in what she wanted? Well, it wasn't just about the traveling. It was, I don't want to care for nobody else. I don't want to consider nobody. I don't want to check in. I assume that she has not had that time to be by herself, to where it would, if you never had that time by yourself, I guess that would be kind of a lot of pressure on somebody to do those things. Yeah, but like I said, she's in a town. She sounds like she's never moved out. Like I said, I don't know this lady, but it sounds like she could have married this guy as a means to an end. Like, maybe you thought this was your best bet to get out of here and go do those things, and 7 years later, it's not happening. Because like you said, you can all travel. Traveling is not a thing. You and your husband can travel if y'all plan to do it, but she doesn't even want to do that with him. She don't want to be around him. She don't want to do nothing with him. She don't want to check in with him. It sounds like she want to be in the streets. What sound like, that's why I say she sounds like somebody who hasn't had that opportunity to do it, and then you're 7 years in, even though you got a good situation, you don't. Go
ahead. No, go ahead. I mean, I get your point about the no life experience, but I also have heard it too, where you, whether you get married young or whatever case may be, but you go into it not really knowing what it takes. Because I have a friend that was telling me about a situation with his friends. They're married now, a younger couple. They're working, they had kids, and now it's a different. It's not what they thought. But you in this thing now, so now y'all trying to figure it out. But you already, so in the beginning you really didn't know. Like, y'all came in all lovey dovey, having a good time, da 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 da. But then reality sets like, oh, I do got to be with this person 24. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to be with you 24/7. I do have to consider you. I have to consider your feelings. I do have to be mindful of the things. So I don't necessarily think it's necessarily selfish. I think people just aren't prepared for what it takes to do that, to be considerate of somebody else, or to actually want to be considerate of somebody else or mindful of somebody else. Because you could be old as whatever and still not want to necessarily be considerate, or you don't think about anybody else, because it does take a lot of energy to be like, okay, I gotta be mindful of their their emotions or their whatever and different things. So it does take a lot of you, but I think you have to be mentally prepared, or at least understand what marriage looks like. Like, it's not just, oh, everything is good all the time and you don't have to be mindful of somebody else, or at least considerate of somebody else. Like, it takes all of that, and I don't think people really consider that as a whole. I think it sounds good and it looks good at the beginning, but as time goes, and I think somebody else said it, you got to continue to work at it. The longer that you're with somebody, the more you got to continue to put work. Like, that first year, y'all just looking lovey-dovey. Ooh. Okay, year 3 or 4, we're going to have to make some time, because now we working. You might have some kids in here. Like, you got to be intentional more so year after year about your marriage and developing it and putting in the work. And I think sometimes people don't realize what work it takes. Yes, it's good. Yes, marriage is good, but it's work, and anything worth having, you got to work for. So I think if you get in there and it's not what you thought, like you said, what she thought it was going to be, now it's like, oh, I don't know if I want to continue to do this. And again, I don't know if you're talking to him, like you said, it don't sound like she want to do none of stuff with him, but that's the problem. You need to have a conversation. Y'all need to be talking. Because if this is your desire, who to say his desire ain't to try to do some of that stuff too, but he understand, hey, I got to, I got to take care of whatever. So his focus might be just trying to get stuff taken care of and lined up, but you over here getting restless and want to go and do and all this stuff. I really believe it is a conversation, but you also have your mindset. It's got to shift to where we going together. Because right now, who knows if they working towards something, maybe we might be able to do certain things or whatever. But if we're not talking, if I'm not talking to you about what I'm thinking or feeling, how you going to know? You going to think it's all good. Who knows? He could be feeling the same way.
I don't think you're feeling the same way.
I don't think he's feeling like that, but I'm just saying, as far as being in the same town, maybe wanting to do something, if interested, or try something different. I'm not saying he's trying to leave or be out the thing. I'm just saying you never know if you're not talking. But you go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
I'm saying, yes, all that's true for somebody who wants to be there. She don't want to be around him. She wants to be gone.
Okay.
So, and things you have to understand is that it's interesting that you have this perfect dude. So apparently it ain't nothing he's doing wrong. He's doing what he's supposed to do. But the older you get, you also realize that everybody don't want to be treated right. There's a thing where we say treat people the way you want to be treated. Then you start finding out that people don't want to be treated. If you want to be treated well, there's always people out here who don't want to be treated well. Because see, she doesn't. What it is that's why I say she doesn't have a lot of life experience stuff, because she doesn't see what she has. She doesn't see the value in it, because she keeps saying, "I don't think it's worth it." Okay. To a person that say, "I don't think it's worth it," that means you haven't been out here to see the other side of it. Because we talked about weeks ago, the lady who was married and was watching her friends go out here and have all this fun. And she was criticizing her husband about, yeah, you're boring. We don't go do anything. I want to do this and that. And she divorced him, got out here. You was in the streets having all this fun. But then you realize nobody wanted to take care of you like your husband did. So it was hard when you had to pay these bills by yourself, where you didn't have, your husband took care of everything. He took care of the kids, made sure y'all had it all. So guess what? You got that party life, but you didn't realize what you were giving up. And now some other woman got it. I say that because she may want that she may want that life, but understand it comes with choices and trade-offs. And you're about to trade off something that you have no guarantee to get back. Just like she referenced those other women where, like, my men say they be alone. A lot of those women are alone by choices they made. They're not alone because didn't nobody want them. They're alone because they had, and a lot of those women, you got to talk to both sides. There's always going to be women that say, I'm single, I'm happy, and I'm glad, and I ain't want nobody. And then there's another side that you talk to some women and say, I wish I would have stayed with my husband. If I knew what I knew then, what I know now, I would have stayed where I was. She has a good thing. The problem is, like I said, she wants to experience something but she doesn't realize what she's going to give up in return. And so it's easier to be reckless than be disciplined. She wants a lifestyle where she's not accountable to nobody. She don't have to consider nobody's feelings. She can do whatever she wants to. But I guarantee if she does that, she's not going to go through that life and not try to have some financial contribution from him because you're married. Because like I said, marriage is not that she's losing her individuality. She's losing the parts of her that are no longer, that she no longer needs to be successful in the marriage, and she doesn't want to change. Because your individuality is the same, but you grow. In a relationship, you grow. And a person who's stable and they offer good things and they show you love and stuff, they require you to grow, and she does not want to grow. She wants to stay the way she is. That's why she's talking about losing her individuality, because who she is wrapped up into the bad parts of her. That selfishness, that I don't want to care, I don't want to be responsible. Those are the things she's struggling with, because you have somebody that requires that from you. When you got somebody who's good, they're not going to put up with any mess you got. They're not going to allow you to act any way you want to act. They require you to be better. You're supposed to be getting better as you grow and as you go through the marriage. Like I said, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. It didn't mean the woman was good. It meant finding a wife was good. She should be getting better year after year after year. Same thing with the husband. They should be getting better year after year after year. You should be growing together. She does not want to do that because she's at a crossroads where she needs to mature, and she doesn't want to mature because she wants to stay in the way she wants to stay the way she is. And like I said, marriage calls you to grow. It calls you to change. You don't go through this time with somebody and stay the same. You're not going to be the same when you got married. You're not going to be the same year 1, year 5, year 10, or whatever. It's always going to be a change, but you should be changing for the better. She doesn't want to give up the bad parts of her. That's why she's like, well, I don't want to be this. I don't want to check in with you. I don't want to do that. You want to be reckless. But then at the same time, if you get in some trouble, who you going to call? The responsible one. So that's why I'm saying, just to wrap it all back, that's why I'm saying, if you had that experience where you've been alone and you've been doing these things, it sounds good until you get out here and realize, like, you know what? It's for the birds. That's why a lot of some people get married because they live that single life. This ain't it. Yeah, you can party and stuff all the time and you can do this, but it's a lot different when you have somebody that cares about you, someone who's checking in on you, someone that you can lean on, someone you can depend on. Because you get out there by yourself and you ain't got nobody. It's night and day. So for her, this is a part where, yes, there's things that she may not have experienced. She can experience those things if she wants to. But there's also another thing, too. A lot of people get in good relationships and get things, and they do stuff to mess it up on purpose. And that could be also something that she's doing, too. You have something good. You have a good thing, and you don't know how, like I said, you don't know how to handle it. So they start doing stuff, being destructive and trying to mess it up. And you're trying to figure out, I'm trying to be happy. It's not him. He's doing what he can to please you. But some people you just can't please. Because you want something that you think is going to make you happy, and then you're going to get out here and find out that don't make you happy either. Then what? So if she hasn't talked to her husband, this has been out here for almost a week. So if he didn't know then, I'm pretty sure he knows now.
I mean, yeah, but it's like I said, it's not on him. It's all her at this point. So she doesn't, like I said it before, she don't know what she want to do. She thinking, even if she has no life experience or hasn't been able to experience that, she thinking she don't want this. That's all she knows. I don't want this anymore. So whatever is definitely consequences to whatever action or choices you make. So at this point, it's up to her what she decides to do moving forward. But just know that once you go, there's no guarantee you're going to be able to come back. And there's no guarantee that you're going to find what you're looking for. If you're not sure, and that's why I said earlier, if you don't know what you want and you're not sure, you're going to keep searching and looking for something. And it's not necessarily saying you're going to find it because you don't really know. You don't really know. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if she was, like you said, out there free doing what she wanted to do prior to them. I don't know. But 7 years of her life has been married to this particular man who she says is good, and it's not him, so it's you. But then again, you don't know what you want. So you're going to be miserable or stuck either way until you figure it out.
Well, she's going to be that way until she separates fantasy from reality. And she's caught up on a fantasy about what you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to be doing. There's a lot of work and a lot of things that go into that. And if you want to do that life, if you didn't want to be tied up with anybody, then like I said, you shouldn't have got married. But that's why I say he could have been a means to an end. So you're at this point where you're looking back and stuff you didn't do and where you think your life should be. A lot of people do that. We look at where we think we should be further on or better off than what we are now. It's not, but understand, life is a marathon, not a sprint. Yes, we're only here for a short amount of time, but guess what? It takes time. You have to work up and do those things, and you can build up and have that life. The problem is you want it now. You don't want to put the work in to get it, and you definitely don't want to do it with somebody who cares about you, that y'all could both go do those things together. That's what I say. You want to be by yourself. You want to be alone, and it's not like you want to live like one of these Instagram model lives or whatever, where people just talking about they just pick up and go somewhere every 2 weeks if they want to. They ain't got no responsibilities. Somebody else is footing the bill for their stuff. Now there's a couple of people out here that we know, that work and they can do that because they got the money and the job and the funds and career where they can do that on their own. And there's a whole lot of other people who are doing that because they living off of dope boy and scammer money and all that other stuff. But so I don't know how she want to do it, but I would say I don't know if she has anybody that she can talk to. Somebody with some wisdom to be like, hey, you need to sit down somewhere. That you can do this stuff. You need to go get a hobby, go get a yoga class or something. You need something to do for yourself to where you don't feel like first off, she do need some time because she doesn't know who she is. Because your identity is not wrapped up in your travel and what you're doing. Who are you? Because if you're not happy with yourself, you're not going to be happy with situations, and nobody else is going to be able to make you happy either. So that's the biggest problem is it isn't about anybody else. She has regrets of her own, and it's hitting her hard, and she doesn't know how to deal with it. So now she's just thinking the answer is to get away from everything, and no, that's just going to make it even worse because it ain't sweet out here. And so she can find out how hard things really are. Don't make a bad situation worse. I mean, like I said, you can go talk to your husband and say, yeah, this is how I'm feeling. We can figure this out. If you need to go find you something to do that you love, you can go do this, you can do that. If you want to travel, we can send you somewhere. We can do that. But if you do want to make this clean break, just let you know, no chance. You ain't guaranteed to come back.
Yeah.
So, if you're cool with it, that's fine. But that's kind of the best I can do. And so, anything else you want to add on?
No, that was a good discussion. Y'all let us know your thoughts on the video. But yeah, at the end of the day, she just got to figure out what she truly wants to do and what that's going to look like. So if she decides to leave her marriage or whatever, just know, like you say, it's not going to be easy to come back. Because again, you're dealing with somebody else's feelings and emotions. You can't just turn it on and turn it off. So that's just something she got to keep in mind. So, at this point, she doesn't appear to seem like she thinks she has any other options or wants any other options, but who knows? We shall see what happens with that. But y'all try to communicate prior to 7 years in and know what you want. Like I said before, since it's about relationships and just marriage and just in general, communicate where you coming from and your thoughts about going into this with this person or where you see your life headed or whatever the conversation may be. That's why we say talk about stuff. Talk about what you see or what you would like or what the desire is for your life. Not necessarily, us coming together. What is it that you see for yourself? When I'm meeting you as this individual, the female coming to meet this guy, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is what I like to do. This is what I see myself in the next. You hear people like 5 or 10 years. Mm-hmm. Okay, can we talk about that? And let's see if us coming together, do we meet in the middle? What's going on? But it's also a conversation. And I feel like sometimes we miss that part. We be excited about, let's do da-da-da and all this. But we not talking about, what is this going to look like in the next 5 or the next 10? What you going to be, what you trying to work on for you? What you trying to work on for you? And if we come together, we going to get, we going to line up or what? So we shall see. But that was a good scenario. Y'all definitely got to let us know what y'all thought.
Yeah, put in the comments. Think about your
comments.
Yeah, let us know what you think.
What you think about that situation.
Or if you've been in that situation, let us know. All right, next one. So we're not picking on the ladies. We got a guy. So we equal opportunity over here. All right.
Read it.
So, yeah. So it says, we've been together 9 years, married for 6. She's kind, loyal, sweet, smart. She loves me deeply, and she believes we were destined to meet. I treat her well. I've never cheated. We laugh together. On paper, we're perfect. But if I'm being honest, I've never been in love with her. I cared about her, yes, but I was heartbroken when we met. She came into my life when I needed stability and comfort, and I mistook that for love. I keep thinking it would grow. It never did. Now we're in our 30s. We talk about kids. She looks at me like I'm the best thing that ever happened to her, and I feel like a fraud. I don't want to hurt her. I don't want to blow up both our lives. But every night I lie awake feeling like I stole the future of someone who could have had real epic love, and I don't think I'll ever forgive myself for it. Babe, what do you think?
Here we go again, y'all. This man said they've been together 9 years, married 6, which means they were together dating 3 before they decided to get. Y'all, I'm just trying to understand. Y'all help me understand when y'all come in these comments. What is so wrong in those 3 years if you weren't sure? And granted, y'all caught it where he said he was he was broken or he was heartbroken or something when they met. So already you in a state of mind of, you going through your healing or your whatever process, or you, I don't say mourning the loss of the whatever of the heartbreak, but she came in, was nice to you, da 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 da. Okay, that didn't mean we had to be like, let's go get, you know what I'm saying? Like, where in here did we decide? And he said he mistook it for love, but she was there for you. She cared for you. She was trying to be there for you. Pretty sure, knowing what you just dealt with, she was a listening ear. She was comfort. Da 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 da. So how come we can't be like? How come we can't recognize it? Maybe that's my question. How can we not recognize that? Okay, we don't need to take. Yes, I care about you, but I don't want to take this any further than that. Like, how do we get from 3 dating, then we end up getting married? You know what I mean? Like, when do we say, oh no, I appreciate, thank you for being here for me, but I'm gonna have to take some time for myself. Whatever you gotta say, but don't jump into marriage. Like, how do we not catch that? And I don't think it's just him. I think people just in general, you be coming out of a breakup or something, and somebody you meet this nice guy or this nice female, and they there for you, and they listening and all this stuff, and then I guess you can mistake it, but I think you got to be able to catch it and be like, nah, I appreciate you, but you don't take it that far. Like, how do you do that? I guess that's where I'm missing it. And then he's like, I don't want to blow up each of our lives. We talking about kids and all this stuff. But sir, you couldn't catch that. You couldn't catch that because he said he mistook that her being there for love. How we not know we don't want to take this to the next? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. How we not know? And maybe what I've seen is people will go into stuff not really wanting to do it, but they do it. We got to stop doing that. As a culture, we got to stop doing that. Like, if you know this is not, something is telling you, no, this is not it, or you feeling some type of whatever, it's okay to be like, nah, I'm good. I'm going to need you to say that early on, up front. That's just my thought on it. Just go ahead. You go ahead, Queen, because I don't, how you not, you got to start saying something. We can't just be going through because it's feeling good, but this ain't really what you want to do. Say something. Go ahead, Mr. Green. What you got to say?
He didn't say anything because he thinks love is just a feeling. That's why he's been with this woman for 9 years. They've been married for 6. He knows that she loves him. He's everything. This woman sounds like everything a guy would want. The problem is he can't fall in love with her because, one, he's still in love with his ex. Because he came at a part where he was heartbroken, and she came into his life when he needed stability and comfort, and he mistook that for love. Well, the other thing is he doesn't know what love really is, because love comes with stability and comfort. Love is not reckless. That's what love. The other thing is that love is a fruit. You don't fall in love with people, and this is the mistake that a lot of people make. Mm-hmm. You don't fall in love. You produce love for people. You don't fall in love with people. You produce love for people. Love is a fruit. That's Corinthians 13. Love is fruit. You fall out of a chair. You can fall out of bed. You don't fall in love. You produce love. And so The reason he doesn't know what true love is because I don't think he's used to someone giving him this type of love. I think for him, he doesn't know that is love unless it comes with suffering. And a lot of people need to feel suffering in order for them to see that love is real. Because it's a good chance that like I said, I don't know these people, but I feel safe saying that his wife and his ex are night and day. They're totally different. And the way his wife treats him, his ex did not treat him that way. Because like you came at a point where you were broken, you were heartbroken. She brought stability, she brought comfort, and that was love. It just wasn't love in a way that you recognized it. That woman, he's married to a woman that is what more could you ask for? But it's hard to do that when you're still in love with somebody else that did you wrong. Or some people find love, like say they love in the pain. They love the chaos. They love the discomfort. They love the bad behavior. They love the cheating on them. They love the coming through and ghosting them and not talking to them. They love the argument. Some people fall in love with that because it's a feeling, that dopamine feeling. She doesn't give you that. She gives you calm. She gives you peace. She supports you. She looks at you. She thinks the world of you. And you can't fall in love with this woman because you're in love with something that doesn't love you. Because think about this. Y'all been together 9 years. And I guarantee he's probably still in love with his ex, and his ex ain't thought nothing else about him. She's going on with her life. Now you're in your 30s and you're talking about bringing in kids into a relationship with a woman that you don't even love, but that loves you. The problem is not that you think you stole the future of somebody. You just not present enough to be part of that future. Like I said, we told you that once again, love is a fruit. You know how you develop fruit? You have to nurture it. You have to till it. You have to till soil. You have to put time and effort into it. You have to pay attention to it. The reason you don't fall in love with this woman because you ain't paid no attention to her. You haven't taken an interest in her because your heart is somewhere else where it don't need to be. Love been staring you in the face for 9 years and you don't recognize the time I don't love her because you love mess. You love someone who was messy. If you would stop worrying about what you don't have and focus more on what you do have, I'm pretty sure you could fall in love with this woman. Like I say, if we would ask this guy things about her, what would he really know? Does he know what's her favorite book? What's her favorite story? How does she act when she get mad? How can you tell something's on her mind? Certain things like that, certain tales that she had. Could you answer those things? You probably couldn't because you don't pay no attention to her because you're not interested in her. You're interested in how she makes you feel. But you're still waiting on this spark. And a lot of people, love does not always come, or it come with a spark. You're going to miss out on a whole lot of people because you're waiting on a feeling instead of getting to know people and realize that they have something that is hard for you to find in this world. We could go take a poll. There's a whole lot of guys that meet, hey, this woman's like this. She's loyal, sweet, smart, loves you deeply, believes in you, treats you right. They'll take that woman right off your hands in a New York minute. They won't have no problem loving her. Why do you? Because you've never been there. You've just been going through the motions for this whole 9 years. Pay attention to your lady and you'll see who she is. You don't know who she really is because you've been too busy being miles and miles away trying to focus on what somebody else is doing. Looking to see something that's not real, looking for some spark. You got to create a spark. You take an interest in it, the spark will be there. It's just like when you're starting a fire, everything the fire don't light the first time you hit it. You got to keep striking it a couple times, but you got to put that time and effort into it before it finally inflames and lights up. You haven't been doing that. That's what I say. Sometimes the thing we need the most is the thing that's the furthest away from us. Why? Because we're too busy looking everywhere else instead of realizing what we have is right in front of our face. As an incident, they got to put everything you need in your presence. You still looking around for something that's right on your nose. And that's the thing. It's if you really want to hide something from somebody, put it in plain sight. The very love you need is in plain sight. You wake up to it. You've been waking up next to it at least for the last 6 years. It's been a present in your life for the last 9. But yet still you so blind that you can't look at this and see this is what love is. So let's read what love is. Love is patient. Now this is 1 Corinthians 13:4-7. Love is patient. Love is kind. Does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with truth. It always protects, always trust, always hopes, always preserves. That verse 7, that one says that always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always preserves. That's the stability and comfort that woman brought into your life. Love don't make love. Love is not here to hurt you. Love is here to protect you. It doesn't mean they're going to do everything right. It doesn't mean you're not going to have instances where you have disagreements or they zig when they shouldn't have zagged. But they're not here to intentionally do things for you or to you. To you. You have a great thing. The problem, like I said, the problem is not. You didn't say the problem was her. Yes, the problem is you because you got your attention other places other than where it needs to be, and you need to pay more attention to your wife. You need to take an interest in your wife. She needs to become your hobby. She needs to become your passion. You need to wake up and say, what is it through these 9 years that you didn't know about her that you can learn about her today? Because that woman, I guarantee she knows those things about you. Why? Because she's taking interest in you. You're not interested in her. You're interested in how she made you feel. You treat her like a rebound. You didn't treat her like a blessing. You didn't treat her like the favor that God says you had when you married this woman. You don't treat her like a good thing. The problem is ain't trying to hurt her. The problem is you just need to be interested in your marriage. Be interested in the woman you marry. Then especially you talking about bringing in kids in here. You're in your 30s. It's time. It's time. You got to stop. Let that go. If you stop worrying about what's on the outside and start worrying about what's in your marriage and who's in front of you, I guarantee you won't have to worry about falling in love. It'll happen. Because it sounds like you married a lovely person. It's not hard to fall in somebody who's been love personified. And it sounds like this is what this woman is. Your problem is you just need to change your vision, your view of what love is and what love is supposed to feel like and how love is actually supposed to treat you. Because if you can wake up and say this about this woman, then the problem, like I said, the problem is you. The problem is how do you fix it, not get out of it. How do you fix it? And it's not telling her you don't love her. Take an interest in her and it'll take care of itself. You'll find out something new about her every day. Something will impress you every day. Like, so when you out, you don't think about her. You don't think about nothing she might need. You don't call and say, hey, babe, I thought of this and I thought about you. It don't inspire. She doesn't inspire you. You don't pay attention to her. That's why it's hard for you to get inspired. You're waiting on somebody else to do it. And like I said, just like the last lady, you're going to mess around and you're going to be in a situation where you're going to go out here looking for something, looking for a spark, and it don't happen. And somebody else going to scoop her up and you ain't going to be able to get that back. Like I said, we got what we have. It'll be great. There's not such thing as a great marriage. Great marriage is made. It's not no such thing as you just fall in love. You can fall in lust with people. You can lust after people when you see them. You have to put time and effort in order for that love to be real and develop. And it sounds like they say you've been going through the motions. You ain't put that time and effort into it. If you do it in there, you won't have a problem loving your wife. But like I said, find out this is what love is. If this person is love, this should be a woman that's easy to love. She don't sound like she's a headache. She don't sound like she a problem. Don't sound like she puts you down. You know how she feels about you. But see, the problem is you too busy trying to get that feeling somewhere else other than pouring that time and effort into what you have. So that's why you don't fall in love with her. That's why you don't love her. Because you love everything else that ain't good for you. So that's what I say.
No, that's good. I think it definitely needs a mindset shift because I'm looking through what he said, and he said, "I've never been in love with her. I care about her, yes." Which is good, but like you said, to go, I mean, you just gotta decide what it is. What is it you actually out here looking for? Because it sounds like you have, your wife has been good to you. She's been there for you. Y'all considering maybe growing y'all's family, and that's all well and good. But before y'all do any of that, he gotta figure out. He gotta have a mindset shift. Because even if you stay, your mindset it's got to be different than what it's been in order for it to continue to grow. Because right now you feeling like, oh, I'll be honest, I'm not in love with her. Okay, but what is it? Like, why is it? What is the problem here? Because technically, everything is good. Apparently, you're taking care of her. She hasn't done anything. You haven't cheated. Da 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 da. Okay, so it's literally a mindset shift. Yeah, you were heartbroken when you met her, but she came and basically, I guess, healed. I'll say she healed your heart, provided stability, comfort, and she been riding ever since. So it's you that has to make the adjustment, but you also have to be willing to make the adjustment. So we can sit here all day and be like, hey, this is what you need to do. You need to try to, you need to get to know her, spend time, da da da. But do you want to do that though? Same thing you were saying about old girl in the first one. She want to be by herself. She want to da da da. She don't really want to do it with him. Same thing here. Do you want to do? Are you willing to work at that to get to know your wife better? To get to get to where you're trying to get. You say you want that because you even said you would hate for her to miss out, basically, on real epic love or whatever. Y'all can have that. But it's going to have to be built based on you taking time and shifting your thought process about what it is you want. And I know you said, oh, I don't want to hurt her. I don't want to blow up our lives or whatever. But, I mean, but you got to figure it out. Because anybody, any relationship, any marriage, whatever, if you're feeling some type of way, like you're stuck or something's not going right, I do believe you should talk to your partner, yes, and figure out whatever. Because I feel like you shouldn't be over here in your head doing all this stuff, thinking all this stuff, and your partner don't have a clue. Then all of a sudden you pop up, I'm out. They're like, what? You ain't tell me, you ain't saying that. Because you in your head trying to figure it out by yourself when you have somebody at least you can express how you feeling, where you coming from, so they could kind of be like, okay, either I was kind of noticed something, da-da-da-da, and let's try to fix da-da-da. But I feel like you should at least have that conversation with your partner, the person you know in a relationship with, to let them know where you at. So you can try, if you choose to, y'all can try to figure something out by discussing it and figuring what's going on. If you don't, that's fine too. But I feel at least respectfully let them know where you are. That's in any relationship situation. I feel like you should at least tell somebody, hey, this is what I'm feeling. This is how I'm thinking about this, whatever. What are your thoughts on it? And they give you their insight or whatever. But don't just be in your head and be like, I don't feel like doing this no more, or I'm done. Because they don't, I mean, they at least be considerate of them. Because I don't feel like it's fair for you to also want to jump ship. And they don't even have a clue. Like, again, the dude and the other one, he might be thinking all is well. She might be thinking all is well. She looking at him, loving and all, whatever. And he in his head like, man, dang, I don't even really want to be da-da-da-da. But then she's still there being supportive, looking like, oh, we might be looking into building our family in the next couple of years. But you really not on that? That's not fair. Because now we're not going in the same place. We're going two separate directions and ain't nobody saying nothing. One person thinking we good and the other person having doubts or whatever, but nobody's talking. So I think you definitely, anybody dealing with some situations or you feeling like, oh, I'm not sure or I'm stuck, please talk to y'all partners. At least let them know where you coming from. Then y'all can try to discuss and move forward. But for him, it's a mindset shift. Again, he previously, I'm assuming, like he was saying, the previous girlfriend probably didn't treat him like this one does, of course. So it was different. And there's nothing wrong with finding different, but then you got to understand what that is. Like, we're not just going to be jumping into something because it was different. And that sounds like what it was. It was different from what he had. He was heartbroken. And she came in right on, right in there, help him out, get him back on track. And then he felt like, I guess he felt obligated. I don't know. He didn't have to feel that way, but he felt that way. And here we are 9 years in. But yeah, it's got to be a mindset shift. But as we talk about marrying the wrong person, what are some keys, Quinn, that you've taken out of these scenarios? Because at the end of the day, our conversations are to enlighten. Yeah, we just dissected where they at, but also to enlighten the audience as of, look at this, or you should approach it like this. What are your take on that?
Well, one more thing to add to this. We're both dealing with both. A lot of people are looking for perfect situations and perfect people, and there's no such thing. Like, you can have somebody who has everything you need, and you just can't bring yourself to do it because they're not everything you have. Like we talked about, 80-20. You don't find everything in somebody, but you can find 80 and you be good with it. But everybody want that extra 20. This could be a situation also with this guy too, because even though she has all these qualities, he's looking for something perfect. I read a little short story one time where there was a guy, he was in hospice, 93. And, he was on the verge of death. And one of the nurses came in and had asked him and said, hey, because nobody comes to see him anything. He said, I know you lived a long life. He said, you never been married at all? Never thought about getting married? He said, yeah. One time I found the perfect woman. He said, what happened? He said, she was looking for the perfect guy. So you in your quest to look at somebody who got everything on your box, check off all the boxes on your list and stuff, you don't find that, and you miss out on very good people. You miss out on, a lot of people have missed out on husbands and wives they should have been with because you kept looking for perfection instead of looking for other qualities. But like we say, you're not going to find everything you want in a person, but you need to decide what's important about that person. You know, as far as like their character, how they treat you, and other things like that. That's going to last a long time. Money changes. When money goes up, money goes down. Just because you making money today, you could have a layoff or an injury or something like that. That could change tomorrow. How does that character treat you? How does other things treat you? Now, you know, like I said, I can't knock what you want, but you have to decide if you want it for a short time or a long time. Everybody's going to be here for a good time, but everybody's not here for a long time. So that would say when you're talking in these situations, you got to have real conversations before you jump into marriages with people. Like we said, what is your 5-year plan? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you see us in the next 5 years? If you have career, are you working toward a career? Are you trying to get this position? Are you trying to make partner? Are you trying to do anything like this? So we know what's going on. So we go into it so there's no surprises when we get into here at year 5. Like, hey, we already talked about this. Do you, like I said, we talked about, do you want kids? I don't want to find out that get married and then find out you don't like kids. Wow, we didn't have that conversation earlier. There's things more than just we like each other and we hang out and we have great sex and we do all this other stuff. There are other things that you need to talk about because those things will come up in a marriage, in a relationship. And all that is putting out the little fires early. We'll address that stuff early so because there's going to be bigger things we need to tackle, and we can't spend all our energy putting out little fires that we could have dealt with before we got married. We could have dealt with a conversation with premarital counseling or anything. Second thing is, like, when we talk about this, like I said, you got to find out, how do people view marriage? That's a big thing. And you're seeing this now. How do you expect this marriage to go? Because you can give your plans, but you know, the saying says, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. You can have plans, I'm going to be here, I'm going to be there, and things may not go that way. It's okay. We can always maneuver and bounce around it. But are you okay with that? Now, we can work towards it. If it doesn't happen in that timetable, are you fine with that? Or marrying somebody that you haven't decided that they don't really want to, like the first lady, they don't really want to be in a situation where they have to take care of you or cater to you or be responsible to you. You need to know those things. It saves you a lot of time and a lot of headache because everybody wants to be taken care of. Everybody don't want to be wives and husbands. Everybody don't want to be married, but they'll marry for survival. They won't marry because they love and stability and they actually want to go through life with you. You're not going to find a person out here that don't want, if you're offering a stable roof over their head and food and clothing and all this other stuff, they ain't going to take it. And they don't really like you. But ain't nobody else trying to do it for them, so they'll take it. They'll gladly take it from you. You got to know learn between the fake and the real. That's why you got to start asking some questions. And sometimes you got to put people through some situations to find out, why are you really here? Why are you really interested in me? Is it me or what I got? Because you came here for what I got, and they don't have no problem trying to take everything you got too when they leave. So it's just something where we gotta be more strategic about how we approach marriages, how we approach relationships in general. Yeah. About this one, like I said, we talked about with our friends like the other week when we went back home. Credit scores, stuff like that. It's okay. It's not mean I'm trying to live money. We just want to know how responsible you are. I need to know what you don't know and what we can work on, and if you're willing to learn something I know. Are you willing to, if you got bad habits, are you willing to change those bad habits? Are you willing to leave those bad habits alone, or do you want to do what you do? I ain't got no problem with it, but don't bring them bad habits around me. Do that without me. Mm-hmm. If you're willing to learn and we want to get better at it, I can show you, we can grow and we can get better together. But if you just want to do your own thing, so be it. But like I said, we have to take the time to find those things out, and we don't. And a lot of times we don't tell people that be more decisive on people you deal with. You can't deal with everybody. Not just because they look good or you heard how good their sex was or whatever like that. You got to look deeper in this because this is your life. You can have life changing events with somebody that you have no business going through life with, because you didn't take the time to find out how this person really thinks, and that's all depending on them being honest. Because some people gonna lie and tell you they want one thing and they really don't. But like I say, you can only do your due diligence to find out as much as you can about somebody and try to make a proper decision. Whether you need to pray or get somebody else to vet this person, however you need to do it.
Before you move. With that being said, that people will basically tell you what you want to hear, I would say give yourself time. I was talking to a coworker one time about just the dating, and he's like, everybody, tell the truth, da, da, da. But I was like, give yourself time, because somebody can only keep up a front or whatever for so long. So give yourself time, and when it comes to the questioning, ask questions that concern you, like stuff that's important to you. So when you're out here dating and stuff like that, let's get off the superficial stuff, but stuff that's important to you, whether that's how you handle, I don't want to say finances, but just how your emotional intelligence. Like, how do you handle your emotions? Different things like that. Like, ask the stuff that's important to you. If you're not saved or a believer or whatever, but that's something important to you and not to them, ask the stuff that's important to you. Because I feel like people be asking stuff that's not really important. Like, you just talking to talk. But I think, like you said, you got to be more intentional with your conversation and where you're, like, the questions that you're asking, especially if you're meeting somebody and you're like, oh, okay, this person's cool. I can see myself possibly, something long term or whatever. Okay, let's be intentional with the stuff we're asking. How your people is, you know what I'm saying? What kind of relationship do you have with your mom, your dad, whatever that looks like. If family is important to you, you want to get an idea of their family background, their family thing too. Because if family ain't really their thing, then like, okay, but it's something that you enjoy, which means you like to be around your family, and they may not be the same, but at least that's not. I'm not saying that's something you can't work through, but ask questions that concern you or that you care about, so you can get an idea about the person. And then, as he was saying, you can kind of vet it as you go. I'm not saying y'all talking for like 3 months and all of a sudden let's go get married. No. Give yourself time to actually get to know the person. So if they can only hold up, like I said, the front and the deceiving or whatever for so long, and if something doesn't sit right with you, go with that. Don't ignore it. If it's something they say or something they do and you question it and they have a problem with it, hold up. So you don't like me, I can't ask questions. You know what I'm saying? Like, be mindful of the stuff like that. Stuff that concerns you. If you know that you like to question to get clarification and they get upset or irritated because you ask too many questions or they don't want to talk, okay, this is probably not going to be the best. This might not go any further than this. Okay, and then you go ahead on. So you just got to pay attention to stuff. I feel like sometimes we see stuff, but then we don't see it because we don't want to, because we want whatever that is, or we want to be with the person. Pay attention to the stuff you see. Pay attention to the stuff that may strike a nerve or doesn't sit right with you. It's okay. Like, there's more people out here. But you got to do what works best for you. I feel like sometimes we just go and settle for whatever just because. Or we try to dummy down ourselves, or we don't want to talk too much, or we don't want to say too much. But that's your personality. If your personality is to question, or your personality is to want to ask questions or get clarification, or if something doesn't sound right, you asking like, hey, what is that? That's something, it didn't sit right with me. What did you mean by that? Da, da, da. And it's an irritation to the other person, then that might not be your person, especially if that's you. Like, that's your personality. You don't want to try to change up. Yes, you can adjust. Don't get me wrong. You can adjust and make a change and changes for, the person or whatever, or you just feel like this, that, and the other. But be mindful of those things when he was talking about questioning and asking questions that are deeper than the surface stuff. Because you can knock a lot of that out in the dating, getting so many questions out of the way. And granted, like you say, everybody ain't gonna be honest all the time, but you'll be able to see and kind of weed it out. But yeah, be able to question and ask questions that genuinely you care about. Don't just be, on the surface like, oh, da, 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 oh, how do you like that? Stuff you care about, that if you want to know going long term what it looks like, how they act, how they treat other people, what's their relationship with, like, their mom, dad, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that. Y'all respect, you having your own, relationship, whatever? Do y'all respect those boundaries, different things like that? I mean, those are stuff you ask about, so you can get a better understanding of the individual and where they're coming from. I think that's key in relationships and marriage. To get a better understanding of the person, you gotta ask questions, y'all. And don't feel like you can't ask or that you shouldn't say that. If it's a concern to you, ask it. If it's a concern to you, ask the question. They're either gonna answer it or they're not gonna answer it. But if it's a concern to you, ask the question. Don't be like, I can't ask that because they're gonna think da da da. But it's something you're concerned about, so ask the question. But it's been good. Y'all definitely get in them comments. Let us know what y'all thought about these two scenarios and talking about marrying the wrong person. Have you experienced that? Dated the wrong person? Whatever it may be. Y'all chat it up with us when y'all get in the comments. But it's always a pleasure. What you got?
That's it. All right. Yeah, we've been longer than probably planned on. But
it's fine. It was good though. We thank y'all for chiming in and watching us, and definitely like, comment, share, all that good stuff. We appreciate y'all so very much. And we're going to continue to do what we do. But thank y'all.
Yep. Thank you all. Have a great week. Like I said, share this with anybody you know and think you'll get something out of it. Also, let us know what you think about what we talked about tonight. If you have any experiences with it, your thoughts about it, some situations you may know, or maybe we're just all wrong and we don't know what we're talking about. Let us know.
So, that works too.
But once again, thank you all. Yes, till next time, take care.
Have a good one.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye. Take care.